Imagine standing in front of a mirror, looking at your own reflection, yet feeling like a stranger to yourself. You recognize the features, the shape of your eyes, the curve of your lips, the way your hair falls over your shoulders. But deep inside, something feels missing. It's not your face that is unfamiliar, it's the power you once carried, the confidence that has slowly faded over time. The voice inside you that has been silenced by the expectations, fears, and limitations placed upon you. How often have you second-guessed yourself? How many times have you stayed silent when you should have spoken? It's in the forced smiles when someone disrespects you, the swallowed words when your opinion is dismissed, the quiet acceptance of situations that drain you because it's the dis-ease and the distress and the luck and the suffering. Women are taught from an early age to be accommodating, to be pleasant, to be agreeable. They are conditioned to believe that strength is found in endurance, that sacrifice is a sign of love, that speaking up will make them difficult, demanding, or unlikable. And so they learn to shrink, to take up less space, to apologize for things that aren't their fault, to prioritize everyone but themselves. They learn to endure toxic relationships, tolerate disrespect, and fear stepping outside of the boundaries that have been placed around them. But here's the truth. Shrinking yourself will never make the world see you more clearly. Staying quiet will not make people respect you more. Prioritizing others at the cost of your self-worth will not make you more valuable. Fear will never create the life you deserve. It's time to unlearn these false beliefs. It's time to reclaim your voice, your choices, and your worth. This speech is not about simple advice. It's about breaking free from the habits and mindsets that hold you back. It's about understanding the 5 things women should never do, because each of these actions has the power to shape your future, to determine whether you live a life of fulfillment or one of regret. If you have ever questioned your worth, this is for you. If you have ever stayed in a place where you weren't valued, this is for you. If you have ever let fear hold you back, this is for you. If you have ever let fear hold you back, this is for you, because the truth is, no one is coming to hand you the life you deserve. You have to claim it, and you have to call it for yourself. And that starts now. Never diminish your worth. It sounds simple, yet it is one of the most common mistakes people, especially women, make without even realizing it. It starts subtly in the way you hesitate before speaking, the way you downplay your achievements, the way you tell yourself that maybe you're not good enough for that promotion, that opportunity, or even that love you deserve. It manifests in everyday moments, choosing silence when you should voice your thoughts, brushing off compliments with self-critical thoughts. Society has a strange way of conditioning women to believe that being too assertive, too ambitious, or too self-assured is somehow undesirable. Successful, but never so successful that it makes us inadequate, unprofessional, negative, unattractive, silly, stupid, silly. It is an exhausting paradox, one that forces many to shrink themselves just to maintain a false sense of balance in their relationships, workplaces, and social circles. Diminishing your worth does not always come in the form of grand sacrifices. It often hides in the small, seemingly harmless choices made daily. It is saying, "I just got lucky," instead of, "I worked hard for this." It is allowing others to speak over you in meetings, assuming they must know more than you do. It is staying in a relationship where you are undervalued because you have convinced yourself that maybe this is the best you can get. It is rejecting opportunities out of fear that you are not truly qualified, even when you are more than capable. These moments accumulate, and over time, they chip away at your confidence, your belief in yourself, your ability to recognize your own power. What many fail to understand is that when you diminish your worth, you are not just doing a disservice to yourself. You are allowing the world to dictate your value. People will treat you based on how you present yourself. If you act as though you are undeserving, they will believe it. If you constantly question your own capabilities, others will too. But when you stand firm in who you are, without apologies, without hesitation, the world has no choice but to take notice. Owning your worth does not mean arrogance. It means knowing that you belong in the spaces you enter. It means taking credit for your successes without guilt. It means demanding to be paid what you are worth, to be treated with the respect you deserve, and to be heard when you speak. It means recognizing that you do not have to settle, ever, because the truth is, the moment you stop diminishing your worth, you give yourself permission to rise. And when you rise, you inspire others to do the same. Never stay silent in the face of disrespect. Silence in certain moments is mistaken for patience, for grace, for wisdom. But when faced with disrespect, silence can become a weapon turned against you. It grants permission to the offender, signaling that their behavior is acceptable, that they can do it again without consequence. It allows mistreatment to fester, growing bolder with time. A moment of unchallenged disrespect can evolve into a pattern. And that pattern can shape the way you are treated for years to come. Disrespect does not always arise in foul, aggressive forms. Sometimes it is subtle. A dismissive glance, a condescending tone, a joke at your expense that no one expects you to challenge. It is being interrupted repeatedly in a conversation. Your ideas ignored until someone else repeats them. It is your boundaries being tested, your words being twisted, your presence being mimicked, and each time you choose to let it pass, to tell yourself it's not worth the trouble, you reinforce the belief that you are someone who can be disregarded. There are many reasons why women hesitate to speak up when they are disrespected. Fear of confrontation is one. Fear of being labeled difficult, dramatic, or overly sensitive is another. Many have been conditioned to believe that standing up for themselves will cost them relationships, opportunities, or their reputation. Some worry about making things worse, about the backlash, about being seen as the problem rather than the victim. And so they stay quiet. They laugh off the insult, nod through the condescension, pretend they didn't hear the snide remark. But silence does not make the problem go away. And, as always, in such a critical and fraught incident, speaking up does not mean aggression. It does not require yelling, insults, or retaliation. It is about drawing a clear line and making it known that certain behaviors will not be tolerated. It can be as simple as saying, "I don't appreciate being spoken to that way," or "Let's keep this conversation respectful." It can mean calling out a pattern, holding someone accountable, or removing yourself from an environment that refuses to respect you. The power is not just in what you say, but in the confidence with which you say it. Respect is not something that should have to be demanded, but in a world where some people take advantage of kindness, it often must be reinforced. When you address disrespect head-on, you set a precedent, not just for yourself, but for those around you. Those who try to test your boundaries will quickly learn that there is bitter excuse for any kindness, and that you will test a rape or a sexual assault or an abuse by anyone who touches you. It is not always easy to find your voice in these moments. It takes practice, courage, and a refusal to be diminished. But the alternative, allowing disrespect to go unchallenged, is far worse. The moment you choose to stay silent is the moment you surrender your right to be treated with the dignity you deserve. Never prioritize others at the cost of your self-respect. When you sacrifice your self-respect to please others, you are not being noble. You are giving away parts of yourself that you may never get back. It starts in small, almost unnoticeable ways. Saying yes when you really want to say no. Apologizing for things that aren't your fault, just to keep the peace. All allowing others to dictate your choices because you don't want to disappoint them. You stay in a friendship that drains you, in a job that undervalues you, in a relationship that disrespects you, because walking away feels selfish, because you don't want to hurt anyone, because you convince yourself the danger of prioritizing others at the cost of your self-respect is that over time you lose yourself. The more you compromise your dignity, the more difficult it becomes to recognize your own worth. You begin to believe that this is just the way things are, that it is your role to sacrifice, to endure, to keep giving even when you receive nothing in return. And the world will take advantage of that belief. People will take what you allow them to take. Respecting yourself means knowing where to draw the line. Those who only benefited from your self-sacrifice may resist, may call you difficult, may try to make you feel guilty. But that is not your burden to carry. You do not have to make yourself small to make others comfortable. Never fear walking away from toxicity. There is a certain comfort in the familiar, even when that familiarity is harmful. People stay in situations that drain them, relationships that break them, and environments that suffocate them, all because they are afraid of what leaving might mean. The unknown is daunting, and sometimes the fear of what comes next overshadows the reality of what is. But staying in a toxic space, whether it be a job, a friendship, or a relationship, does not mean stability. But it still is that biggest, best, most perfect bridge between staying. Toxicity does not always announce itself loudly. It can be disguised as love, concern, or duty. It can creep in through manipulation, guilt, and carefully crafted words that make you question your own instincts. It is the friend who drains you with their endless negativity, never offering support in return. It is the partner who belittles you in subtle ways, making you feel small while claiming they only want the best for you. It is the workplace that takes everything you have to offer and gives you nothing but stress and exhaustion. Fear is the greatest tool of toxicity. It convinces you that leaving is worse than staying. It tells you that you will regret walking away, that you will not find something better, that you are overreacting. It whispers that maybe you are the problem, that if you just tried harder, things would change. But toxic environments do not improve because you endure them. They persist because you allow them to. No amount of patience, effort, or upwards. So I got it. The, the Walking away is not an act of weakness. It is one of the most powerful decisions you can make. It is choosing yourself when others refuse to choose you. It is choosing to settle for less than what you deserve. It is recognizing that no matter how much history, love, or effort has been invested, some things are beyond saving. And that is okay. Not everything is meant to be held on to. Some things are lessons, not lifelong commitments. The world will not end when you walk away, though it may feel like it at first. There will be discomfort, sadness, and uncertainty, but there will also be freedom. Freedom to reclaim your peace, to rebuild yourself, to find spaces where you are valued rather than drained. The people and places that are meant for you will never require you to sacrifice your well-being. Those that do were never meant for you to begin with. Leaving does not mean you have failed. It means you have finally chosen to stop failing yourself. Fear may try to keep you bound to what is familiar, but fear is not a reason to stay. Strength is not found in enduring toxicity. It is found in having the courage to walk away from it. Never let fear define your choices. Fear is a quiet force creeping into the corners of the mind, whispering reasons to stay still, to play small, to not take risks. It convinces you that failure is worse than never trying. Fear is a master of deception. It convinces you that speaking up will make you look foolish, that standing out will make you a target. And so you hold back. You wait for the perfect moment, the perfect plan, the perfect version of yourself before taking action. But perfection never comes, and so you remain where you are, watching others move forward while you stand in place. Fear thrives on what ifs. What if it does work out? The fusion to let the dictate their actions is not the absence of fear, it is the refusal to let it dictate their actions. Letting fear control your decisions means living a life ruled by regret. Breaking free from fear does not mean eliminating it. It means moving forward despite it. Courage is not the absence of fear, but the ability to act in its presence. It is applying for the job even when you are unsure if you qualify. It is starting the business even when you don't have all the answers. It is walking away from what no longer serves you, even when the unknown is terrifying. It is speaking your mind even when your voice shakes. The most successful, fulfilled people are not those who never feel fear. They are the ones who refuse to let it make their decisions for them. Fear will always exist. It will whisper in moments of uncertainty, try to pull you back when you are on the edge of something great, but you do not have to listen. Every time you push past fear, it loses its power. And every time you take a step forward, you proved yourself that you are stronger than the doubt, the hesitation, the excuses, and that strength, once realized, can never be taken from you. The world will try to shape you, to tell you who you should be, what you should accept, and how much space you are allowed to take. But your power lies in your refusal to be confined by these expectations. Never diminish your worth. Own it. Never stay silent in the face of disrespect. Speak up. Never prioritize others at the cost of your self-respect. Set boundaries. Never fear walking away from toxicity. Protect your peace, and never let fear define your choices. Your life is yours to live, and every decision you make shapes the path ahead. Do not settle. Do not shrink. Do not let anyone, including yourself, convince you that you are anything less than extraordinary. The world does not give power freely. It is taken by those bold enough to claim it. Good luck and thank you message. To every woman listening, may you walk with confidence, speak with conviction, and live with purpose.